Hey guys, it's Bub here, and today we will be installing Windows 3.1 on an original Nintendo Wii. You may ask yourself, what is the purpose of doing this? Not only will we be able to run Windows 3.1 applications, but we will also be able to play MS-DOS games on a Nintendo Wii. This allows a typical outdated Wii to be able to be repurposed. While Windows 3.1 is a very outdated operating system, it will be interesting to see if we can get this old operating system to run on a Nintendo Wii. To start off, I have already used a letter bomb to install the homebrew channel on this Nintendo Wii. As far as I know, this is required to emulate anything. I did this several years ago, and I've never really gotten into it until now, but it's already installed, and I highly recommend doing this if you have a Wii. Homebrew uses an SD card to load all of our apps. So, moving over to our computer, we can download the Homebrew browser from the internet. The Homebrew browser is an app store which features many emulators, games, demos, and utilities. Once we downloaded the Homebrew browser, we can extract it and move the folder over to the apps folder on the SD card. As you can see, I already have 2 other apps installed to this SD card. These are just utilities for Homebrew and are not required. Now that our SD card is created and it has Homebrew browser on it, we can insert it into our Wii. We don't have to reload the Homebrew channel as it will already show up as soon as we insert the SD card. As you can see here, all of our apps that we installed onto the SD card are now showing up. And now to actually use the Homebrew browser, we're going to actually need an internet connection. So we have to exit back to the system menu. We can open the Wii options, Wii settings, and go to the second page where the internet connection settings are. So now we can set up a new connection since I don't think I've ever connected it here. And okay, just like I thought, my internet connection is too new to be able to connect to the Nintendo Wii. My house has 4 access points, all of which are set up in a mesh system, and all 4 access points are showing up separately, and if I try to connect to one, it refuses to connect. So, I have an idea. My Essential phone allows me to create a Wi-Fi hotspot using Wi-Fi and not cellular data, so I can create a new hotspot named Wii Hotspot, use the existing password, make sure that the band is on 2.4 GHz, and turn it on. And now the initial launch of Homebrew browser may take a while, but here we are. Now you can see a lot of the images are not found. This is normal because this is such an old application, or it's still checking icons, I'm not sure. So we're going to have to move over to the emulators tab, and when we click on something it's going to take a while to load. I really can't tell you why, I don't know. Maybe it's because we're running off of a very slow SD card. So we just have to scroll down and find, I'm using the D-pad to scroll, and okay, so if you can hear that, I'm not sure, my Wiimote is vibrating right now, and it appears that our Nintendo Wii has crashed. I'm going to take the batteries out of this thing before it drives me crazy, but okay, this is not ideal. I don't really know how to proceed from here because this is the only way that I can download DOSBox. So I think I figured out a solution after some researching. We actually have to click on the home button, settings, and then go over to the last page of settings and enable use secondary server, because apparently the main server doesn't work anymore. So once we do that, we can return to the Homebrew loader, and then hopefully we can load up on the secondary server and everything will work without crashing. So now that we've loaded up on the secondary server, we can actually see that we have icons now. So far the secondary server is loading. So let's scroll down here, and DOSBox Wii right there. So let's click on that and download it. Hopefully this goes well and we don't crash. Alright, it looks like DOSBox is done installing, so we can return to loader and hope for the best. So DOSBox Wii, and are we going to crash? No. We are running MS-DOS on our Nintendo Wii. So actually, I need to get an external keyboard, because otherwise you'll be stuck with this keyboard on a MS-DOS powered machine. So let's actually run dir to see what we're dealing with by default. dir/w, or forget the slash. Okay, and these are all of the DOSBox commands. So, alright, we have officially gotten MS-DOS on our Wii. So now, this comes the probably more challenging part, trying to get Windows 3.1 to run on DOSBox. Now, of course, to install Windows, we need Windows install files. So on a new USB, I'll create a folder called Win and download an already extracted installer of Windows 3.1, copy all of those files, and then paste it in the Win folder. And now, this is the fun part. Now we get to run setup on the Windows installer. So right now we are just in the Z drive, but first we actually have to mount that USB. So using just mount and a drive letter, we get the proper usage of how to mount a drive. So we want to do mount as a D drive on our USB in folder Win. And now we just wait a little bit for it to read on the USB. And now drive D is mounted as the USB folder Win. So if we move to the D drive and we type dir, we can now see all of our Windows 3.1 installer files. So in theory, all we have to do is type setup, and here we are. And now we can just go through this like we would on a typical virtual machine. Let's just use the express setup. So we have came across an error, I guess. The code page in use by MS-DOS and the required MS-DOS, they don't match. Okay, well, we can apparently continue setup. So let's continue setup. And we have a cursor. This is good. That means I have to plug a mouse in now, but this is good. Hey, there we go. Windows setup. Now, it may not look the best, but here we are. So let's just use our keyboard for this since I have the USB plugged into the only other USB port. So let's just run with that. And now it is copying our files over to the internal hard drive or the actual SD card. And now I've left the setup alone, and here we are. We are now at a printer installation, which I believe I can just cancel. Apparently that was all the setup that we need. We are now officially running Windows 3.1 on a Nintendo Wii. That went surprisingly simple. I thought we would struggle way more with this. Oh, wait, never mind. We are still setting up Windows. I shouldn't have said that. Alright, so here we are in DOSBox again. I had to restart the Wii because it froze. So let's switch over to our C drive, pull a directory, and here we are. So let's CD into the Windows folder. And now if we type Win, okay, we are having problems running this. So there is actually this weird folder called whatever this is. Maybe this is why. 2038 is the date this stuff is set to. That is maybe why. So I did actually find a solution to this whole problem. I just reinstalled Windows, but for some reason it looks really weird. I think it's due to that weird issue that we had. But so let's demo this. So we want to move to the C drive, and now that we're in C Windows, we can run Win, and here we go. We are witnessing Windows 3.1 boot on a Wii, albeit the UI looks a little bit weird. I think it's because I have some kind of weird version. But other than that, it works. So here we are. Like I said, it does look a little weird, and I have a Japanese input folder, which I think I did download a Japanese version. I'm not entirely sure. But this is Windows 3.1 on the Nintendo Wii. I don't really remember how to get to WinVer on this. About Program Manager. Here it is, Windows 3.1. So this actually does run pretty okay. I think it would run better in a virtual machine. But we are, like I said, running on a 2006, I believe, console. So it's obviously not going to give you the best performance on Windows, especially running off of a very slow SD card. If you do this, I recommend, getting a faster SD card. But like I said, this is Windows. This is our C drive here, and this is that weird folder. I think I just crashed the system. So yeah, that's about all for this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're new around here. I do different tech videos every single week. I upload every Monday. And yeah, so the purpose of this is just really for fun. There's not really a specific purpose besides to reuse a Wii that you may not be using. But it's definitely a fun project. I did see Michael MJD do a Windows 95 on the Wii. I think that would be a little bit overkill. So I chose Windows 3.1. But Windows 95 is definitely possible. So anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.